I'm Grant. Welcome to today's lesson with Iron Lotus Tai Chi. We're going to look at the 32 sword form today. So obviously first thing you're going to need is a sword. A sword like this is good. If you don't want to spend on a sword like this, a little one like this which comes in a pouch, little extendable thing, can be quite useful. Especially for practicing at home. So if you want to practice at home in a small space, you can just have this, not really very extended, and you can do your moves in a much more compact space. So you can get things like this for about $20 on eBay. Can be useful and fairly cheap sort of option. Okay. So the first thing we want to do with our sword is hold it properly. Okay, so often when I do sword with people hold the handle here. So we really want to have our handle up here against the guard, okay? So you want to hold close to that, and the closer your hand is to that, the closer it is to the balance point of the sword. So if I'm here, there's lots of weight here and my wrist is straining. If I'm here, there's more equal weight this side and this side. So try and have your hand pretty close to the guard here, okay? We also want to try and feel that most of the time we have what I call kind of a hammer grip. So it's like in a fist, okay? And then when we do a move in the form that you call a peck, where we point the sword down and extend the arm, the pointer finger extends and points down there. And then usually the next bit will be back into a hammer grip. You also don't want to absolutely throttle the sword, okay? So there wants to be some softness so that as you're moving you can get a little bit of movement this way and this way depending on what move you're doing, okay? So just that little bit of softness rather than too stiff, okay? When we start the form we have the sword in our left hand. So if you start with the blade pointing up and the pommel here pointing down and you're putting your left hand on there, and we want the guard in our palm, okay? So again, often when people do this, they'll hold it down here and the sword won't stay against your arm very easily because we want it to stay against our forearm, okay? So if we've got the guard in our palm, okay, and we have our pointer finger down the handle, okay? And in that sort of position, this sword, you can see as I'm bringing this up and down, it stays stuck to my forearm. I don't want it flopping around like this, okay? So if it was a real sword and it's flopping around, every time you do that you might be cutting yourself. If you're doing this, then you bring it back in, it might cut you again, okay? So we want to try and feel that sword is connected to the arm, okay? So that's the first sort of thing. So I'd recommend just practicing that a bit before you do anything else. If you haven't done any Tai Chi before, this is not a good place to start. You want to have done some Tai Chi before. You want to be comfortable with Tai Chi walking. A lot of the stepping in this form is based on this step forward, rock back and turn, and step in and turn, this sort of stepping. Also a lot of following stepping. So you want to be fairly comfortable with that. I've got a video on that if you want to have a look. I'll stick a link to that about this point in the video. So this one, I'll do this a couple of times facing the camera and then I'll do it with my back to the camera. Okay, so you've got your sword in the left hand there. You've got your feet fairly close together. And very first thing that we're doing, pretty much every form, relaxing dantian, belly, the rest of the torso relaxes, hips and shoulders relax, and we have a sense of sinking down to the hands and feet. We also want to have our sword fingers, this right hand, so we've got our thumb holding this in a little bit and we've got our sword fingers extended there, okay? So once we've relaxed everything, we've sunk down, we've connected to the feet, a little bit more relaxed down into the right leg, and then stepping out to shoulder width, going through that process again, relaxing down, feel little compression wave down to the feet. With the breath in, the compression wave comes up, and we're turning to our right to bring the sword across the body, and we're dropping the right hand down, and our right hand is going to come up through the tassel as our left hand comes down. And we want to finish this bit before we start the next move, which is the step across, brush past the knee and press. Okay, so if you've got the sword going here, it's all, the timing is all not quite right. Okay, so we'll just go same again. Okay, so we've got our feet fairly close together. We relax everything down, try and feel that little wave of compression or pressure to the feet. Let it release to step out. We release to the feet again, and again, a little wave comes up the body, and we're turning. As we're turning, this hip sinking in and down, so not just turning the shoulders, trying to maintain a fairly rectangular torso rather than a twisted torso. Okay, so we've got this turn, we sink into this one, and then right hand comes up as left one comes down, comes in near the ear, we step across, brush past the knee and press. Okay, so I'll do that with my back to the camera. So again, we let everything relax down, we've got our sword fingers in right hand, we sink down into that right leg, stepping out, the breath in, we're coming up to about shoulder height, and then we're sinking into this right hip, little spiral of the right arm as it drops down, right hand comes up as left one comes down. We're watching this hand as it comes in, we turn, and our step not just here but across, so that we've got a shoulder width stance here. Okay, so if I face there, I've got this sort of stance, not this on a tightrope sort of stance. Okay, so this basically, you just want to do that over and over until you feel fairly comfortable with that. Okay, so again, I'll go with my back to the camera, and we're sinking down, stepping out, the breath in, we're coming up, the breath out, we're sinking and turning, and this is coming out towards this corner on the diagonal. Okay, and it comes back in near the ear, and we step across a quarter circle step, and as the hips turn, the back heel slides back. Okay, if you've then got that comfortable, the next move, and I'll just hop back a little bit, the next move, we turn this front palm up, and we step through with our right toe pointing out to our right. Okay, so we turn this one up, so we're turning our body to the right, sword goes over the top of the hand, and you can see here my back is to the camera, my chest is to the right. And then stepping through, taking the sword, and we pommel down the fingers on the wrist, and then we go from that hammer grip that I mentioned into a peck. Okay, so, and here there's a sense of everything is a bit compressed down, and it's a release of that compression. It comes up the body in a wave, and then boom, down into the sword. And at first you'll probably find that you're pushing from your shoulder, but eventually you want to try and feel this as a release from the feet, boom. Okay, and in that position I've let my finger go down so it's pointing down along the blade. Alright, so we'll go same again with me facing towards the camera. Okay, so again we let Dantian relax, we melt hips and shoulders same time as each other, elbows and knees, wrists and ankles, so we can feel a little bit of pressure in the foot. Stepping out, got our sword fingers here, the wave comes up the body, and we're turning, dropping this right hand down, right hand comes up as left one comes down, and then we step, brush knee. Turning the right palm up, turning towards the right as we step through with the right toe pointing out to the right, letting that back foot pivot on the ball of the foot. We're looking to this hand at the back. We step through, we take the sword and pommel down and then peck. Okay, and that is more than enough for one lesson. Okay, so have a look at that, practice that till you can do that without watching, and once you've got the feeling of that you've got the basic shape of it, really try and feel this sense of that you're compressed down and then boing. And when we're doing this stepping through as well, we've done our brush knee here, and we step through. You want to feel again, there's a sense of a bit of compression and then a boing, so it compresses, it bounces out, and we step in, take the sword, and again we want to have the hand right up against the guard. Boom. Okay, that's lesson 1, 32 sword. Thanks very much for joining in today, and I'll try and put something else up hopefully within the next week. Okay, thanks very much.